Hi you guys, hope everyone is doing well this week. I'm gonna try to remember to look into the camera, but that's hard because then you can't actually see what you're doing. But anyway, so one of the cool things about this year is that lots of you have given bead making a try and taken a beginner class, which is really cool. Oh, my eyebrows need help. Anyway, so yeah, and lots more of you are totally interested in it and have it on the radar. And if you've been thinking about taking a class, definitely look up a local lampworking studio and take a class. It's one of those things you can't know until you try whether you really like it, but either way, you'll either sit down and you'll think, oh my god, I love this and need to keep doing it, and then you'll want to invest in your own equipment and get set up at home. Or you'll decide you don't like it, it's not your thing, but it'll give you a better appreciation for what goes into making glass beads. So either way, it's cool. So what I wanted to do today is, because some of you are getting started and probably wondering what would be some good things to purchase as you get started, and maybe you're making like a Christmas gift list or birthday wish list or something. So what I'm going to do is show you some of the books I have, and I think I've purchased probably every lampworking book that there is out there. So I have a good idea of what is good and what is not. So the first book is Making Glass Beads, and this is by Cindy Jenkins, and probably most of the bead makers, at least in the early 2000s, bought this book first and found that they were really inspired by it. And it's got a lot of good tips. It's got some very basic information about setting up your own studio. It's not super heavy on the like technique and learning aspect of it, but there is a little bit of that. I think mostly what it is some nice inspiration and some nice pictures of beads. And when this book came out, there was no Pinterest or no Instagram or whatever, so it was a lot harder to find visual inspiration and to see what was possible, to see what other things people were making. So this book was really good for that, but I'd still recommend it. It's a good book. The second set of books I bought, I think was this one. So this is called Contemporary Lampworking, and there's 2 volumes, and this is by Bandhu Dunham, and these books are quite technical, so if you're interested in like the science and research and the really, really technical elements of glass, you might enjoy it. When I started, there wasn't a lot of technical information available on the internet, so I kind of geeked out on these books and really dove into learning about all the technical stuff about annealing and whatnot. So it's quite interesting, and there's a lot of good safety information in these books. So I would say definitely these wouldn't be the first books you would want to add to your collection, but they're worth having if you like to collect books. They might be ones to buy used or try and borrow or get from the library or something. So there's those. This was the next one. So this is by James Kervin. More Than You Have Ever Wanted to Know About Glass Bead Making, and that is true. There's a lot of stuff in this book. It's kind of in the same vein as the Contemporary Lampworking books, quite technical and lots of stuff about kilns and tools and whatnot. So it's worth having, but I would say not a must-have. And there's more stuff about making things with borosilicate glass. It's not like so much aimed at people who work with soft glass or soda lime glass, which is what I do. So there's that one. These are two more recent books about glass bead making. They're quite basic compared to a lot of the other books. This one is by Kimberly Adams, The Complete Book of Glass Bead Making. And it goes into a lot of the basic techniques. There are lots and lots of nice pictures in this book. So it's a good one. And she talks a lot about using enamels and baking soda and making twisties, stringers, using frit, all kinds of basic stuff, and doing all the you know, basic bead shapes and gravity shaping and all that stuff. It's got a little bit about equipment and safety and setup too. So this is one I would get if you have the money and you want to add to your book collection. So this one is by Jerry Warhaftig. I don't know how to pronounce her name exactly, but it's called Creating Glass Beads, and it's more a project-based book. So she made certain bead designs, and then she goes through the techniques about how to create those designs. And then each project, she had different artists test it out and show what they all made with the same technique, which was kind of cool. So yeah, that's a pretty good one if you're looking for some new ideas. This was an eye bead one, and the initial project, it's all like step by step, all the steps you go through, tutorials and stuff. If you're looking for tutorials, one of the things that I would definitely recommend is subscribing to the Soda Lime Times. And they have a Facebook page, so you can look it up on Facebook, and they also have a website, but that's a monthly e-publication that comes out. And different bead makers will do tutorials. They have 2 or 3 or 4 tutorials in each issue. They have lots of inspiring beads. It's always designed around a theme. Like, it'll be like flower beads, or beads inspired by nature, or beads inspired by fire, or whatever. So that's kind of neat. They have tool recommendations, tutorial recommendations, stuff like that in there. It's very well done, and I had a tutorial published in there last year at some point, maybe in 2014. This book is excellent in terms of like skill building exercises. She goes through basic bead designs that you would want to make, like flower beads, triangle beads, dot beads, and she covers so much of the like just sort of like, it's learning about how different shaping techniques are going to affect things, how if you add dots here or there, it's going to change the shape of your bead, like balance, design. Like, she covers all of it, and it's really, she has this cute little frog bead that was like so popular for a while. Everybody was making these little frogs. fun. So she's got, it's basically like tutorials, but very step-by-step, and she's explained everything really well. Sometimes tutorials kind of don't have enough detail and you get a bit lost, but she goes through all the explanations really well. So I'd say this is a must-have book if you're just getting started, and you can buy it online. I think you can buy it on Amazon. But yeah, it's very good. There isn't a lot of technical detail on setting up your studio, but that kind of information can be readily found now online. If you're looking for an online forum that has a lot of technical information, definitely check out lampworketc.com. It's like lampworketc.com. And you can find like anything and everything you need to know there in the technical tips section. Just do a search for whatever you're looking for. There's also a lampworking, I forget the exact name, lampworking tips, techniques, and something else group on Facebook, so that's worth looking up as well. Lots of people are in there now. Lampwork, etc. isn't quite as active or popular as it used to be because people are on Facebook now, but those are both worth checking out. So Passing the Flame, that's like my #1 recommendation. Now, so here's just a couple of other things. If you're more of like a collector and you're not so much interested in making beads, but if you're a bead maker, you'll also find this fascinating too. So many of you will know the Lark Books series, 1000 Things or 500 Things or whatever. So they put out this 1000 glass beads, and it's all just pictures of amazing stuff with some details, just artist bio information. But this is well worth getting. It's not very expensive and it's beautiful. Like, the quality of the photographs is very high, and lots of lovely stuff from people all over the world, so that is a very good one. Then this one I also like. This one's called Masters Glass Beads, Major Works by Leading Artists. And they took a lot of like the big name bead makers around the world and included their work. So like Tom Holland is one that I really love. And what I think is really fascinating about this book is when they published it, they included photos of their recent work, but then they also showed photos of what they were making 5 or 10 years ago, which is really neat. Like, and quotes and inspiring stuff. Like Tom Holland said in his thing, "For me, glass bead making is the ultimate experience in terms of intimate involvement with fire. Even though I can't touch the hot glass while I'm working with it, I delight in the kinetic dance of the temperature." So that kind of stuff is really fun. These are some more of his beads. And a lot of these people are like sort of the pioneers of the North American art glass bead movement, and a lot of them are not really online so much because they're kind of old school kind of people, which is kind of neat. So this is a place where you can see their work, and they included some Japanese bead makers and stuff too. So there's those two. And then you can branch out and find some kind of weirder, more esoteric stuff. One of the things I love the most is I've found some really cool, like, sort of collector books from Japan on eBay. No idea what the title of this book is, but it's really interesting. And Japanese bead makers have a very different style of bead making than most North American bead makers. They use a lot of marini in their work, so they'll build these complex canes and do these incredible detailed things. Like, look at this tiger bead. Totally amazing, isn't it? But anyway, so you can get some really cool different collector type books from different countries on eBay. And I have this one, but I also have another one that's more technique oriented, so it shows how they make some of the different canes they use, and it's totally fascinating. But anyway, so those are my book recommendations. There's lots of stuff out there. But if you're just getting started, definitely go with Passing the Flame. It's a good one. I don't know how much it is now, but I think it's between like 60 and 80 US dollars. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a worthwhile investment. And even a lot of people who've been making beads for a long time, like if they get stuck or they find that they're not feeling inspired or whatever, they'll go back to this book and just pick a technique or two and just work on it again, and you'll find that, you know, the ideas start flowing once you get your hands moving. So it's good for that too. Anyway, cheers. Here's my famous mug from my bestie Tracy, and I hope you guys have a good week. See you later. Bye.